Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth.
Welcome to another edition of Coach Connection. I'm Farrar Tate, your host. I'm honored today to be literally talking to a legend. Coach, you have been changing the lives of so many people. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the world who you are?
Yes, I can. Thanks you.
Thank you.
My name is Coach Marvin Parker. I'm the Dean of Students, Athletic Director, and Girls Head Track and Field Coach at the historic Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School.
Now, when you say Paul Lawrence Dunbar, give us a little history about this amazing school.
Well, Dunbar High School is the first African-American public high school in the United States of America. And it's our 151st anniversary this year. Last year, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to celebrate our 150th anniversary. Mm-hmm. But we're trying to bring things back for the 151st anniversary. We have a strong alumni association. It's called DAF, Dunbar Alumni Federation, actually. And we're trying to lift our kids back up to where we were just before we went on the pandemic. Because a lot of our kids have suffered a lot of social, emotional damages.
Yes, sir.
I call
yes,
it, sir. Since the pandemic and since being locked in and shut down. A lot of our kids have lost their social skills and things like that. But because of our historic, history and our dynamic new principal, Ms. Nadine Smith, who's been there going on her 4th year, she has instituted programs in the school for us to really connect with our children. She pushes us out in the community. We've had some strong volunteer, brave people who braved the pandemic and were still working the streets while we're in the pandemic, taking food packages, technology, just social emotional connection with children and things like that. And we were having study sessions at people's houses and things like that, doing the best we can by being safe, but while being safe. But at the end of the day, the school itself breeds kids who really want to, strive and thrive to do their best.
You don't think about the extra that our athletic departments are doing to ensure not just the safety, but that the children are having the resources they need to be successful. And I thank you for sharing that, because a lot of times we think it all happens on the field. Give us a little bit more in depth about the students. Who are these students that you're talking about, Coach?
So what it is, what we have a unique thing being Dunbar. We have students from all 7 wards in the city, from everywhere, because we're like central in the city. Because of the lottery, children have the opportunity to go to any school they really want to. But for Dunbar, it sits like in the middle, stone's throw away from the Capitol. Mm-hmm. We're surrounded by McKinley and Banneker, but we're the only comprehensive school. Those 2 schools are application schools. So we get a lot of students from all around the area. So with our athletic program, Dunbar is known for a lot of things, all right? Definitely the first in athletics in the city, obviously the first in everything pretty much. But we promote our athletic programs, but we always put student athlete first, all right? And like on my track and field team, average GPA is 3.92. 100% of our girls have gone on to college since 2005 and graduated. Yes. And came back to give back to the school. Yeah. And we have a lot of students home now from college who came back like to practice yesterday and helping some of the students. But our students are our everyday students.
Yes, sir.
They're our city students, Washingtonians. Yeah. And they're eager to get back, because during our pandemic, we actually had the opportunity to still try to work out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Being safe, of course. Mm-hmm. We worked out at FedEx Field. We pulled out mats, stayed 6 feet apart in the parking lot. Okay. And these are kids who want to still socialize, gather with their friends. Yeah. And even though we couldn't compete, they came out every day. Yeah. Every day, just for the socialization of just being around their friends and things like that. Mm-hmm. But we have some, I think our students, especially our public school students, get a bad tag. Mm-hmm. People think that our children are out doing things that they're not supposed to, but it's just the opposite. That's one thing athletics does. Yeah. Athletics brings people together, and you find out a lot about children when you bring them together, when they're able to interact and burn that energy off instead of just sitting in a home. But we have some brilliant students, brilliant kids around the city. We have some dynamic parents. who were supporting that venture. And, of course, schools, we're always limited in resources, but we don't let that stop us.
Yes.
We try to think outside the box to do the things we possibly can to try to help. The city does what it can, obviously, because of what the country just was going through. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of those students. I'm proud of our Dunbar staff. And our parents especially, and I must say too, our Alumni Federation helps us out a whole lot in everything they can. But everyday citizens, and I must say, the distinguished, former mayor Vincent Gray, supports a lot the best he can. Eleanor Holmes Norton supports a lot the best he can. We're gonna try to uphold the tradition and keep moving along. And like Paul Dunbar says, keep plugging away.
Keep plugging away. And that is so important. For parents or just our community leaders or our community itself, how do we support you? Because can you tell us what is the average cost of pulling a young person through an athletic department to be successful?
You really, I'm gonna use track and field as an example.
Okay.
You need about a good $15,000 or $20,000 a year to run an athletic program, just one. But obviously, because of budget shortfalls and things like that, we're not able to do that. So we do our fundraising. We have a lot of different programs like Adopt an Athlete, and we do our car washes, our bake sales, and traditional fundraising the best we can. But you're kind of limited. But at the end of the day, I think it's not always just about money. And, money is great.
Yes.
But time and interaction with adults and speaking to children. Putting them on a path, helping them to develop a plan, like our old counselors used to do back.
Write it out.
I think people mistake a lot of times when we say fundraising, we're just talking about money. Yes, we definitely need money, but connections, networking, maybe this person has a bus company. So, hey, we don't have to pay as much for a bus company. Maybe this person has a uniform company. We don't have to pay as much as for apparel and things like that. But you'd be surprised that with whatever resources we get, our kids are real good at Dunbar is known as a pre-engineering school. So we have a lot of kids that are very innovative in doing things to try to help us raise money. We have a grant writing program was teaching our kids how to write grants.
Okay, so they're learning how to ask intelligently.
Exactly. So of course in the college career kind of phase into that also. Because college career we're teaching our students how to get through their NCAA clearinghouse and how to apply for scholarships and things like that. If I'm learning how to write a grant, so maybe if I want to get a business, I learn how to write a grant. Right. Things like that, and just those are part of our non-traditional.
Well, see, that's part of molding that individual to be excellent. So again, how could our community support you? How do we, more than just checks, like you said, how can they volunteer? Is there a number or a process?
You can reach us at 202-698-3762 or 202-534-8408. Again, a lot of our support comes through Dunbar Alumni Federation, also the Dunbar Educational Fund. So if you were to be generous enough to write checks, you can write out either to Dunbar High School or Dunbar Educational Fund and things like that to help support us. But the main thing is, again, we invite you to come to our school, one of the few schools, if not the only school, to have our own museum. I think if you come and see the history of Dunbar High School, you will be amazed.
You'll get it.
You'll be amazed on how much Dunbar connects to Washington, D.C. So, again, also to Howard University. But we just need folks to just visit. I think if you visit, it helps out a lot more. And then I think you'd be inclined to be a little generous with your pocketbook.
You see it with your own eyes. You can experience. And like you said, Coach, sometimes it's just important for our children to see you when they're performing, when they're making that swimming or they're making that track or that perfect basketball shot.
So we don't always have, we have, again, we don't use anything as an excuse or a crutch. We have students who are coming from single-family homes, maybe more than the States and things like that. But when you can look up in the stands and see that person that's supporting you and just clapping and cheering for you, it means everything to those kids. You'd be a lot surprised about how these kids feel when they see someone cheering for them. They see their teammates cheering for them. So we promote that here at Dunbar. We send, like on my track team, we send positive affirmations out every morning.
Yes.
And we send a thought of a day, prayer of a day, things like that. And also on our morning announcements at the school, it's always positive, 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 positive. And looking forward, we always tell our kids they're kings and queens, and they're scholars.
Yes.
And, it's the language that we use
Yes.
at Dunbar. And again, we have a great principal who's leading the way, and we're going to keep following him.
When you know that you're part of someone else's solution, you're part of that solution. Our young persons, are, like Coach said, are coming from some communities that are they're not expected to, right?
Exactly.
So as you have seen success in so many ways from our students, what can you say? Like, what is that root discipline that a young person gets when they leave a Dunbar?
Well, you get a sense of family, camaraderie. You get a sense of history, and I think that when you leave Dunbar High School, you're able to navigate the landmines of life. And you're able to sidestep this one, sidestep that one, and sometimes you got to be bold and run through it. And I think our kids get that when they leave us, and that's why, again, we've been so successful with our students graduating from college. And the beauty of it is when the college athletes come back.
Yes.
They tell their stories.
Yes.
And matter of fact, I just went to a graduation the other day. One of my former athletes named London Freeland.
Okay.
At the University of Tennessee, and also went to the University of Delaware. She just graduated from Uniform Secret Service.
Okay.
Down in Glencoe, Georgia. So I'm so proud of her. You know what I mean? So it's
Success in all ways.
Just always. So to see these young ladies do that, it's just every fiber in me is screaming, loudly for them and supporting them, because again, it's more than winning and losing.
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes, sir.
Championships come and go.
Yes.
But life experiences and life connections are a lifetime.
Yes. And today you're going to have the opportunity of meeting two of our students. And before we bring them to the studio, they don't even know this yet, but can you tell us two reasons why you chose these two students?
Well, one, they're both captains of the teams. Daquan Harvin is also the MVP of a football team.
Okay.
Has been highly recruited throughout the country. He's also the fastest kid in D.C.
Okay.
He's a 4.39 GPA, I think.
Shot.
And, this young man, his story is unique.
Okay.
He just lost his father, and again, he didn't let it stop him.
Yes.
He didn't use it as a crutch.
Yes.
He used it in motivation on his academics and his athletics.
Wow.
And he always said his dad wanted him to go to school. I'll let him tell his story.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful young man.
Yes.
His spirit, his energy is why I coach.
Yes. Yes.
And the other young lady is Ariana. We call her L.A.
L.A.
I think she has a 4.39.
Okay.
So she's also a captain. She's an 11th grader. Daquan's a senior, and she's another one she's a two-time national high jump champion and state champion and city champion. She's amazing young lady that thrives to follow her mother's footsteps. Her mother graduated from Princeton, and she wants to go to Princeton like her mom. So it's like, when our kids have plans, and I think that's a lot that we were missing in our community that we try to encourage at Dunbar, is to have a plan for life and not just see your way. We don't want to ask our seniors when they graduate, what are you going to do? And they do this. We want you to sprout out, show, on paper, this and that. And we just, I have to say this, had another student yesterday, just got her scholarship letter in the mail, full scholarship to Tennessee State University.
Yes.
So I'm proud of that.
Yes.
From Memphis, Tennessee originally, so I'm happy she's going to Tennessee. So, it's like, those are the things that motivate myself, my coaching staff, and the staff at Dunbar High School. We have some dynamic teachers that are here for the right reasons.
Yes.
And it's not about a paycheck. It's about education. You know what I mean? And for us, so it's beautiful to have that spirit, and I've been in DCPS for a minute, so it's pretty good to have that.
Oh, my goodness. This is why Coach Connections is so important. When you watch this show, you have an opportunity to not only learn, but you have the opportunity to actively get engaged with our students and the schools that are really giving them a platform to be excellent, Yes. And so, Coach, any final words?
Well, again, thank you. For this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Voice and speak to people in a broad audience. Again, I would like for you to visit Dunbar High School, any DC public high school. Our athletic department, our conference, the DCIAA, has done a phenomenal job of keeping us together and active in doing sports. I have to shout out to Michael Bryan. I think he's now the new acting or he's stepping in there. We just lost our athletic director, Mr. Greg Foster.
Okay.
I think Michael Bryan is stepping in his place. But Mike is a strong young man that has a great vision and guiding us in the right direction to keep our kids active.
Yes, sir.
He and his staff, all of them, they're wonderful folks, and we need people like that, young, dynamic folks who are pushing us toward the future in the 22nd century.
I got it. And we've had amazing shoulders to stand on. So it's on us as a community to come together. And Coach Connection is here to give you the information so you to get actively engaged with helping our young persons have a brighter future. Coach, thank you so much. No problem. All right. Talking to you soon. Once again, another edition of Coach Connection. I'm Farrar Tate, connecting you to amazing athletes today.
Coach's Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth. This show has been brought to you by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network, SASN.TV.